Hello everybody and welcome to Letterbox Book Club. My name is Claire.
And my name's Mackenzie.
And firstly, happy 2025.
Yes, welcome to the new year. I don't know if this is going to be the first episode that we release for 2025, but it is the first episode that we are recording for 2025. So, happy 2025.
Happy New Year.
I also had to fill out some paperwork the other day and I wrote 2025. I was very proud of myself.
On the first try.
On the first try, yep.
But did you have to really think about it for a second? Nope. Oh, it just
I was
smooth.
confident.
Oh, she knows what's up.
Yep. I have been doing the last year thing though. Talking about, oh yeah, last year. But
it was 7 days ago. Or 6 days ago.
But I mean 2023.
Oh, okay. Yeah, your brain is not quite caught up.
Mm. As Smash Mouth said, the years keep coming and they don't stop coming.
Yep, it's just snowballs out of control.
Anyway, today we have a very exciting episode. And sorry to disappoint you all, but it is an adaptation from a book, so technically...
Oh, we're going that route. Okay.
We will be discussing Nosferatu because I think we would be doing a disservice to everyone if we didn't discuss Nosferatu.
I don't think anyone cares about our opinion of Nosferatu.
Okay, I care about Nosferatu.
I feel like the reason why we're doing this is because you're still digesting and it's been 6 days. 5 days.
Hey now. You're an all-star.
Honestly, what a great start to the new year, you know? Spent New Year's Eve getting blasted, and then the first day of 2025, you go see a grotesque vampire movie.
Yes, exactly. It was amazing.
It was a true bonding experience for all involved.
Okay, as always, I will start us off with the blurb, but in this case, obviously, I will be starting us off with the description. In the 1830s, estate agent Thomas Hutter travels to Transylvania for a fateful meeting with Count Orlok, a prospective client. In his absence, Hutter's new bride Ellen is left under the care of their friends Friedrich and Anna Harding. Plagued by horrific visions and an increasing sense of dread, Ellen soon encounters an evil force that's far beyond her control. The end.
And important to note, directed by...
Richard Eggers.
Robert Eggers?
Why did I have Richard?
I don't know, man. It says Robert on IMDb.
Okay, Robert Eggers. I take it all back. Anyway, who also directed The Witch, which is an amazing film.
I'm not familiar.
How dare you?
I'm uncultured when it comes to
The Lighthouse, which is also an amazing film, and it has Robert Pattinson.
Also unfamiliar.
Also The Northman. Also an amazing film.
Also unfamiliar.
How dare you?
Yeah, no. All good. Very notable movies for some. Nosferatu starring Lily Rose Depp, Nicholas Hoult, Bill Skarsgård, Aaron Taylor-Johnson, Willem Dafoe, Emma Corrin. Obviously the more prominent actors and actresses.
And Ralph Ineson.
Mm-hmm.
It is a adaptation of an adaptation. It is the adaptation of the 1920 film. 1922.
I've done that before. Sometimes I've been meaning to say 2013 or 2012, and I would say 2022 or 2023. It's happened on more times than I can count.
So based on the 1922 film of the same name, which then is also based off of Dracula. I don't know, I didn't go into depth in my research, but the person who created Nosferatu based it off Dracula, and all of the copies were destroyed or something, except for one, and that was the one that the film was made from.
I'm not super familiar with
the lore.
Dracula's story, the lore, but just as the iconic character that gets interpreted, the recurring interpretation of Dracula as a big bad vampire is all that I recognize. But no, there are 3 certain things in life when it comes to Hollywood: death, taxes, and remakes.
Oh, it was of the film. So, a German court ordered the destruction of all copies and negatives of the 1922 film Nosferatu after Bram Stoker's widow, Florence Balcombe, sued the production company for copyright infringement. However, some copies survived and eventually made their way to museums and film archives in Germany, France, and New York.
So
the current versions of Nosferatu are a combination of the surviving prints and are considered a patchwork of the original.
Oh, so the OG Nosferatu, that was the copy that was being copyrighted against Dracula.
Mm-hmm.
But then, and so all the copies of that copyright were supposedly destroyed. Or were destroyed. Okay.
Were destroyed.
Interesting. I wonder. I suppose some people write material that's not meant to be then turned into something else or into a film or a movie or anything like that, so that's kind of fair, but really cool though.
I mean, it also is like a blatant rip-off of Dracula, but
I wouldn't know. But very interesting that a material of that nature would have been made in the 20s. I don't know, I feel like
Frankenstein also existed, so...
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Like, people were into the gothic horrors.
I'm just, personally not super familiar with the history and the lore, but anyway, interesting to know. Thank you for that, Kenzie.
You're welcome.
To think back in the day as well, like, that would have been probably considered, horror and scary. But I reckon if you were to watch it now, it'd be a bit maybe of a...
Yeah, well, also there's, like, notoriously a lot of scenes in the 1922 film of Nosferatu, like, literally carrying around his coffin. And he's just, like, creeping around.
I feel like there would be that sort of comedic element, despite back then it was a serious horror, but given the advancements in technology and acting and, like, not having a silent film, not being a silent film anymore, and being in colour, I reckon it would have, just looking back on those things, just probably adds a bit more of a comedic element.
Mm-hmm.
It's like what I say about Jaws. Like, back when Jaws was released, like, scariest movie around. But you look at it now and it's like, haha, funny robot shark, you know? Like, CGI was top of its game back then, you know?
Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts, feelings, and emotions on this film?
I would like to preface by saying I was heavily influenced by the clips and interviews on TikTok, so I absolutely blame TikTok for this fascination. Again, I had no idea what to expect leading into this film, other than sensual, like, graphic horror, gothic horror. I don't think I've seen many gothic horrors, and again, in saying that, I didn't know what to expect. I do appreciate the art for what it was. I feel like as a viewer, I took it very seriously artistic-wise. I really enjoyed it. I was grossed out in the most, like, authentic way possible. It was a bit gnarly, again, grotesque. Couple of quick qualms, though. Just, at times, I thought it was a bit too loud, the sound and the music. Maybe I'm just getting old. And then some scenes where it felt like the lighting was just a bit too dark. And I was like, what the fuck? Couldn't really see anything. But other than that, I really enjoyed it, yeah. I was impressively grossed out. I'll leave it at that. I don't know what else to say. I lost my train of thought.
I was also influenced by TikTok, but I don't know if grossed out is the right word. It's not. I feel like I was intrigued. A lot.
Were you enthralled?
Enthralled. I was enthralled throughout the film. I have a quiet love for really artistic films like this, that I am not intelligent enough to cohesively translate into words and stuff.
And yet here we are.
So I just keep it to myself. I love the creative thought process that goes into not just like gothic films, but films in general, of the way they choose to film shoot certain scenes, and then like color theory and themes and a subtext of shots. But again, I am not intelligent enough to have great lengthy conversations, and I also don't want to get stuck in a conversation, pardon me, with a like indie film bro who will mansplain everything to me. So I keep my love and my fascination to myself, but I would love to talk about the themes and things that come up in the film as well. But I really enjoyed it. Yeah, again, like the only downside I could say to it is that, yeah, some shots were incredibly dark, like lighting wise, yeah. Not content wise. I mean, content wise, it was pretty dark anyway, but I mean,
yeah,
whatever.
That was to be expected.
Yeah, like lighting wise. And I have since learned that it's because, like, of the way that we film things nowadays compared to back in the day, which is why films such as Lord of the Rings and stuff have never been filmed that same way again, because if you watch like Lord of the Rings, there's an entire like battle scene at night and it's kind of lit perfectly, and it's you're able to see it, but we don't film that same way or use the same materials to film anymore because it's like really expensive or something, and really difficult. So that's why in more modern films a lot of the dark scenes are dark.
I see some other sort of arguments or maybe assessments that it could also just be like TV settings or how TVs kind of receive the lighting and stuff in the screens.
Yeah, but also like we watch this at a cinema, so
yeah, I know, yeah, but like who knows how it'll translate onto like a regular TV screen, but yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, I think Robert Eggers should get all the awards. I think costume design should get all the awards. I think sound design should get all the awards. I think set design should get all the awards. I think all the actors should get all the awards.
It was so good and just, fun to watch. When I say grossed out, I think, because I'm not really good with gore sometimes, like if something's too gory, like I'm more likely to look away. And there were a lot of moments in this film that was like, I can't look. And so, I guess that's what I meant by that. But yeah. It was really impressive though. Like, you can look at it from an artistic standpoint, and I feel like I can speak for both of us. Like, the cinema experience was a little bit flat just because of the people behind us would be having their little social commentary.
I was going to bring that up. So there were 3 older men sitting behind us, and don't do this. Like, where is the cinema etiquette? Where is the theatre etiquette? So we were, and you know, like sometimes I make comments during a film or whatever, but
quick sidebar.
Yeah, quick sidebar. But like, I'll whisper it in the ear of like the person I'm seeing the movie with. I won't audibly say it like out loud. So there were 3 older men behind us, and there's a lot of Lily Rose Depp, Ellen, her character, doing a lot of like physical work of like her having these visions and episodes, like epileptic episodes, essentially, like they said were epilepsy in the film anyway. And they were like, oh, didn't know we were watching The Exorcist. And one, it's a horror film, like of course they're going to pay homage, I don't know how to say it anyway, respect to like a previous horror films and like classic horror films, but then also like I don't know how else like you're meant to portray like that literal, like she is kind of being possessed by Orlok, like Count Orlok, like Nosferatu, possessed, like enthralled, entranced, whatever. And it's like, how else are you meant to convey that? And then it's like, not every possession is The Exorcist. And then there was a like very quick like depiction of necrophilia, and then they like audibly commented like, oh no, we're getting necrophilia, and it's like, okay, but, and I hate to be that person, but it's like, okay, you're obviously not mature enough, even though they're clearly like probably in their 50s, like you're not mature enough to appreciate this art that is in front of you, or like the themes are going above your head, like.
I feel like being a bit of like a theatre bitch, or like a cinema bitch or something about it, but I've never heard that sort of commentary watching any other movie or film before, and maybe they just didn't realise how loud they were. But also, yeah, like the necrophilia comment, it's like, well, yes, you're meant to recognize it. Well done for understanding that. That's an inside thought.
Yeah.
And there's a discuss with your homies later sort of thing.
Yes.
But yeah, and I think when Ellen was like body spasming out or convulsing or doing a lot of weird creepy shit with her body, I think there were a few chuckles, I don't know if it was like discomfort sort of laughter or if it was like, this is funny, so I'm not going to take this seriously. And I don't know, I really appreciated it, the whole entire film for the artistry that it is. And it's just a shame that not a lot of people kind of saw it that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the only downside to the experience, was the fellas behind us.
Yeah.
Commentating the obvious.
I'm just searching through my notes.
I must say, I was not familiar with Lily Rose Depp's game as an actress.
Yeah, me
I'm
either.
not familiar with her work. And same with Aaron Taylor-Johnson. I only really know of him for Marvel, and not really anything else beyond that. But I was really impressed by the entire cast. And Bill Skarsgård especially, because, of course, typecast monster man he is. But I tell you what, the Skarsgård family, goddamn, so talented.
I know, right?
Just into everything.
Bill Skarsgård alone, like.
And I saw a funny TikTok earlier. Someone said, if they didn't know it was Bill Skarsgård, if they hadn't have already known it was Bill Skarsgård, like, they would have just been outwardly, like, impressed.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I may have mixed that up.
Also, I don't know if you noticed, but I noticed, and then I saw a TikTok about it as well, how the entire first scene is one shot.
I think I did make a mental note.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh,
of her
this is
calling
one
out
shot,
to him, and then getting out of bed or whatever, and levitating, and then you see his shadow and stuff. It was all one shot.
Yeah. I love one shot moments.
One shots are so clever and artistically challenging, because not only everyone has to be on point. I think in The Haunting of Hill House, Netflix horror, also amazing, there's a 16-minute one shot or something.
Jesus Christ, 16 minutes.
Yeah, something ridiculous. I'm gonna look that up because I could be really wrong, but it was really long, and all the sets were
I know there was one, I think it's Dunkirk, the war movie. There was a huge one-shot moment running between the trenches or something. But yeah, one-shots are so fantastic, because I like to notice that stuff as well. 17! Jesus Christ. Imagine being the one person, or getting towards the end, and it's perfected, and then one person just fucks it up. Now, I love watching behind the scenes of it and seeing the maneuvering around to avoid, obviously, the camera and getting in the way or creating any unnecessary shadows and stuff. It's so cool. But I think sometimes people can take one-shots too far. But it's something that I really appreciate. And there was a lot of, prolonged shot moments, which obviously helps build, the tension and the suspense. Anytime there was sort of lingering on Nicholas Holt's character, or to truly emphasize his terror around Nosferatu, Count Orlok, it was just so good, because you at any moment you felt like something could happen or there'd be some sort of jump scare.
I want to talk about the necrophilia for a second as well, because there's so much controversy about it.
Really? I have not seen a single bad thing about the necrophilia.
I have seen so much about people dead.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Here we go with the word. I'm kidding.
Okay,
I'm kidding.
so it's
I'm kidding.
Yeah, the scene was symbolic and romantic the whole movie. We see him fawning over her, adoring her, and absolutely in love with her, telling how much he wants her. He is absolutely broken once she gets sick, dies, and when he too began dying, he went to her, kissed her, and made love to her one last time. It wasn't a random or gross scene. It was a symbol of his love and devotion to her and how much he adored her.
Yeah, I think I saw the exact same TikTok. Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
And, it's not like we saw anything.
Yeah.
It was just the finality of the positioning, and you're like, oh shit, that's what happened. But also, it could just be him going mad because of his
he
own
also has the plague and is half
well.
corpse himself, so...
he gets a pass. Yeah, it's obviously weirder if it was, a complete stranger or somebody else doing it. That's completely wrong, but yeah. What's his name? Frederick? Yeah, Frederick, truly loved his wife, and you could see it. It was so evident. He's a family man. He just wanted to help. It's such a shame, like, everyone was willing to help Thomas and Ellen, but then they were the ones that also suffered the most too. Suffered the loss. Nobody wins. Oh, and as I keep reiterating, like, horror is so cinematic, and I feel like it's very underappreciated because you get a lot of trash horror movies that are just outwardly shit and poorly written and poorly shot. But this, it was just so good.
Yeah. I feel like so many people, like, also, there was a bunch of, like, young adults in our theatre who were, like, dressed very gothic, etc., and, like, clearly very excited for the film. And, like, after the film, they all looked kind of shell-shocked, and they were all, like, a little bit quiet and stuff, and I think, like, I could just tell that, like, they didn't get it.
They were...
And it's like, you've been bamboozled. Like, yeah, you, like, look at you being like, yeah, I'm a goth, like, blah, blah, blah. But then you just, like, didn't get actual gothic content.
I think TikTok lied to them, because also TikTok is very good at taking the piss or taking the bit too far. You know, everyone's quote-unquote quote thirsting after Nosferatu, but I feel like it's not that serious, or it's very satirical and silly. But, yeah, ultimately, Count Orlok is an awful creature, but I think because there's just so much content of the yearning and the thirsting after him that I think it might have twisted their perception of what the movie is actually about.
I think
which is
also,
so funny.
Like, for me, my interpretation of it was that, like, Orlok, like, is an actual being or whatever, but he, like, it's the physical manifestation of, like, her deepest desires, which is, like, sexual freedom, essentially, like, her sexual desires. Because, like, back in the day, obviously, like, being a, like, promiscuous woman or, like, seeking, like, your own pleasure, like, as a woman was probably extremely frowned upon. So, she's like, maybe if Thomas had just, like, fucked her right. Yeah. Also,
Ellen was just horny.
Exactly. I think Robert Eggers has spoken about this a little bit as well, with, like, the sexification of vampires, like, thanks to Twilight, etc. And, like, Vampire Diaries, True Blood, etc. Even, like, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, like, Spike's pretty sexy, Angel's pretty sexy. And, like, going back to vampiric origins of, like, no, they're really scary creatures and they will kill you. And then, like, we've gone from... Also, they are, like, inherently sexual, like, because usually, like, they bite on the neck, and, like, you have your two cute little, like, marks, like, teeth marks or whatever, and that's, like, a very sensual sexual place. But, like, Nosferatu, I think whilst Ellen is, you know, seeking, like, the sexual gratification and pleasure or whatever, Nosferatu is just like, nah, I want your blood, like, yeah. And because he also obviously eats Thomas's blood as well, a little bit. And we were discussing as well that, yes, like, it's painful, but, like, Thomas also, like, it did look like kind of a euphoric moment as well. But when, Nosferatu is taking Ellen's blood, like, he kisses, oh my god, he bites her chest, like, where her heart would be, and also, like, it's quite grotesque, like, it's not these cute little pin marks, it's, like, teared into her, and he is, like, gulping down blood.
Yeah, he's almost, like, ripping the chest cavity apart, almost. Yeah, and there's nothing sexy about that, that's for sure. And just the gulping and the slurping is what really got me too. Oh, Jesus. Bill Skarsgård, you did such a good job. I hated it. And that, drawing back to vampire genre and having them being, or their bite being sensual, with Count Orlok, there was nothing sensual about that. Although, at times, it did seem like whoever was bitten, there was that kind of euphoric moment, though could also be just symbolism of assault anyway, because they didn't want to be bitten, and it's not a consensual, pleasurable experience either.
I've seen a lot of, the final scene in which, like, Ellen invites Nosferatu in again. There's that...
I have seen some controversy.
Like, thematic, storytelling of like a vampires need to be invited in, because he still asked like, have you never heard that?
I didn't recognize it in the film, but I do know the concept of vampires.
I just recognized it because he asks her like, are you doing this of your own free will? And she's like, yes. And he's like, okay, well then the covenant is sealed or whatever, like we are one. And I like interpreted it as both, like, yes, she's saying yes to like it's taking my blood or whatever, but also like you being invited in, because every other time he's only kind of like ever been that shadow figure, like he's never physically been in front of her. Anyway, so I've seen a lot of controversy about like, no, like it wasn't consensual, it's an allegory for sexual assault, blah blah blah,
like just the real deep intricate analysis of it.
I don't think they would have depicted it as sexual assault. I think she did consent to it. I also think that like the whole film, like she just wants to die, like,
yeah, she consented to the sacrifice knowing what it meant, and it meant laying and ending her life with Nosferatu. But also she had no other choice at the end of the day.
Yeah, like she wanted to die, and I think she knew that she needed to die. So, yeah, like I think it was all consensual. I also really enjoyed, I don't know if you caught this, but TikTok has also caught it at the start when Thomas gives Ellen lilacs, and she's like, they'll be dead in a few days. And then Orlok gives her 3 nights or whatever, and then at the end, like after the 3 nights, the lilacs are on the bed with them.
Yeah, I did see something like that, but I obviously didn't catch that in the film, which is really cool. I like it when, other people point out things and then you just look back and you just think, everything is truly connected. Also,
a very funny thing that Robert Eggers has said in an interview is that, like, at the end, when Nosferatu's, like, corpse is lying on top of Ellen, and they're both dead, he has, like, all these wounds on him, like, open holes and stuff. 1, the maggots are real. Yeah.
I heard something
and 2,
about that
like,
as well.
He's bleeding from, like, all orifices, but he said that they rigged it for his anus to be bleeding as well. But they obviously like didn't show that in the cut. Also they said that like a lot of the rats were real, like there was something like 5,000 rats on scene.
I heard an interview with Nicholas Hoult. I think he said something, maybe even 8,000 rats.
And then Bill Skarsgård was saying as well that like in the like scene where Thomas comes to kill him in the crypt, like all the rats that scatter out of like the coffin and stuff, like they're all live rats as well, so he was just like lying in the coffin like waiting to like jump up.
Yeah, to be fair, it was hard to tell a real rat from a potential fake rat.
Yeah.
Like, they did such a good job. Like, I just loved that physical manifestation of Orlok's power and chaos and destruction through the plague and just through the rats. It was just so good and disgusting and just... I
also want to talk about as well the use of the lighting throughout the film, because at the start, like, it's black and white, and then there's a couple of scenes throughout where it's black and white, and I think one is paying... I need to look up how to pronounce homage.
And I think I even said to you, because though at times some scenes seemed a bit too dark to be able to really see what's going on, but then there was that not quite black and white, but deep moonlight blue sort of tinge with the black, and I assumed that was paying homage to the old remake back in 22, which would have been also black and white at the time.
Homage. Paying homage.
Jesus.
Anyway, so paying homage to the original. And also I was thinking like Dementor, like as in like they suck all happiness out of the world, and so like Orlok is like sucking like joy and colour and emotion from the world.
Ooh, that's so cool to think about. I agree, because we didn't really get colour throughout his torment,
and then also because Ellen's clothing, like a lot of the colours she wears are very like muted or like dark black colours as well.
Yeah. Oh, crazy. So good. Everything is just so well put together.
Anyway, those are all my current thoughts.
No, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed just any sort of the recurring motif of just the black hand.
The shadow hand. Yes, I love that. We love shadow work.
A shadow hand in the curtains, along the floor, along the walls, across the fucking city or village. It was just beautiful. He's coming. Also, shout out to what's his name? Simon McBurney, who plays
Yes.
Nock, who is his Orlok's pick-me assistant. Give him all the awards too, because he freaked me the fuck out most
When
of
he
the time.
bit into that pigeon.
It's just, oh yeah, he's a crazy motherfucker, and I respect him so much for that. Like, he went all the way. I know, like, Lily Rose Depp is getting a lot of praise, especially for all the, like, the body contortions and, like, just her physical acting. But this guy, he can also get it. He can share the awards for all I care.
Mm.
He was just so crazy and just obviously so devoted to Orlok and just the occult belief anyway. I'm not too familiar with, like, the occult aspect of magic and, like, supernatural belief, but it was pretty cool to see that sort of representation. Yeah, him biting into the pigeon, him just being in the coffin as well.
There was a lot of talk online as well about Willem Dafoe's character, and how at the end he takes Greta the cat, and he seems to just have, like, a collection of cats, and people are saying that, like, they're all the cats of, like, previous, like, cases that he's worked on.
Okay, just, like, occult no.
Like how the Warrens take a trophy from every case.
Right, okay, yeah, right. I did, it was obvious, it was quite obvious that, he took the cat, and that was symbolic in its own nature. Like, job well done. Yeah, I completely forgot that Willem Dafoe was in it until he popped up.
Same.
I was like, what are you doing
I was like, isn't Willem Dafoe supposed to be in this? And then I forgot, and then he popped up, and I was like, oh.
There he is. It took a while, but he got there. Really, really enjoyed his almost exiled mad scientist sort of vibe as well. Obvious analysis on how to approach Ellen and her behavior, and also, I don't know, I just loved Aaron Taylor-Johnson as well. He truly played, just the devoted husband, family man, but still in the disbelief and shock of this entire situation, and how could a creature such as Orlok be real? He's just like, his whole life is like disillusioned, and he ends up dying anyway, and it's the poor man just wanted to help out a friend. Alright, star of the show, Bill Skarsgård.
Oh, of course.
I feel like I don't want to compare any sort of acting performances, but when you're in a more fuller body costume with fuller or more covered prosthetics, I feel like it might be easier to be in character, because you have that physicality of not looking like yourself, compared to, like, Lily Rose, who, again, I'm always going to draw back to her possessed sort of scenes, because she did a lot of jerking around, eye rolling,
a lot of physical acting,
frothing, physical acting, and I wonder, like, it's just such different experiences for both of them, because Bill Skarsgård gets to essentially put on a mask and an accent and his voice work, and he's somebody else, but Lily Rose Depp, I feel like, really had to dig deep, and willing to more get laughed at, I guess, because a lot of people, how they react to, like, those possession sort of scenes. But Bill Skarsgård, his accent was great. I didn't realize his voice could get that deep either. The grunting and the heavy breathing.
I've seen an interview where he was, like, working on his voice, and he said that, like, it was coming from his throat, but he really wanted it to, like, he worked on it so that, like, it came from his pelvis.
Interesting. Okay.
And I was like, nice.
What a way. Yeah, it was just so good. Very, very terrifying as well, because even just Orlok chatting with Thomas, the tension you could cut like a knife, and you can feel like Orlok could lash out at any moment, or it was so intense, and it was so good. And in saying that, Nicholas Hoult, the actor that you are as well, the last show I saw of Nicholas Hoult is The Great, and it's just a real comedy, historical sort of drama.
I feel like he has a range.
That's what I was gonna say. He has the range. He can be such a terrified, dramatic person, but then he can also be super funny and super silly. I hope he gets his flowers too. But yeah, it's definitely like one of those films that you gotta take some time to digest. How do you feel now that you've spoken a little bit about it? You feel a bit better?
Yeah, I just like, I wasn't like, it wasn't like I was grossed out or anything. It just like, I've enjoyed sitting with it, and I just like haven't had a film hit me like that in a very long time. Just like artistically, it was beautiful.
Yeah. I agree. Again, I didn't know what to expect because I was not familiar with the OG lore and the remake, but yeah, I was left shook, that's for sure. Surprised. Again, a little bit just grossed out by some of the gore. And yeah, and that's horror. Whoops. There goes my AirPod. And that's just, yeah, the horror. And in horror you have to work so hard to make people feel. I feel.
Yeah.
So I feel like really props to them.
Again, this is a thing, because it's classed as horror, I'm worried that it's going to get snubbed.
You're right. I hate to say it, but yeah, you're probably right.
But also, like, the cast is stacked,
It
so I
is.
feel like there'd be uproar if it got...
It is stacked, but are we going to care about it this time next year?
Yes.
Oh. You'll be campaigning
I will.
hard for it, yeah. See, the Hollywood calendar is so weird because, yeah, we're in 2025, but I saw some quick comments about the Golden Globes because the Golden Globes were on today. And they were like, oh, this person had a big year, but it's like, bro, we're 2 days or 6 days into 2025. What do you mean? Yeah, just the Hollywood schedule makes it fucked up a little bit. But yeah, I hope it gets recognized for a lot of things. If not for acting performances, then for at least cinematography and or production at least.
Yes, I agree.
If anything. But yeah, I think, horror, you have to work very hard. And there's so many low level or low budgeted awful like horror films, and that just overrides all the good ones. And yeah, I've never felt creeped out from a movie or a film in so long, and that did it for me, and that was great.
Yeah.
And as I weirdly said to you, like, it was probably because I was wigged out half the time throughout watching it, but I slept like a fucking baby that night. Like, I don't know what it was. It was such a good sleep. So that's it had that going for me. And then obviously now embracing a lot more TikTok jokes. There are more thirstings after Count Orlok, and there are more thirstings of this. But a lot of people are turning around and being like, Thomas is right there. And I agree.
Yeah.
Poor Thomas. All he wanted to do was just love his wife and just secure financial security.
Want to start a life together.
He just wanted a family, and he gets fucking sent on a mission.
Yes.
And yeah, that scene where he kind of meets the silhouette, I guess, of Orlok in the woods. Like, yeah, that scene and the carriage rolls up. Like, that's where it felt a little too dark, lighting-wise, for me. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, I understand what you're trying to make Orlok this imposing figure, ominous, imposing figure. Also, loved the little vampire witch hunt in the random village, which is really cool.
Oh yeah, so cute.
Yeah.
Love that.
A lot of, obviously, religious symbolism and practices as well. Historically well used against the vampire genre, or within, works well together. I liked the, like, little compulsion moment that Thomas had in signing the paperwork. Like, really
that was cool. Where he essentially sold his wife. Yeah. Well, like, gave up his wife to Orlok.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of, again, like, normal stereotypical vampiric moments that is once again emerged and used well. And obviously when Thomas nicked his finger on the paper, like, that was the moment that, like, fucked him up. But yeah, just any scene with them too, it was just, you held your breath. It was intense. Thomas could have died at any moment. Make one wrong move, show 1 ounce of disrespect, and bye-bye.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I didn't expect him to truly survive the entire thing, to be honest. Because with a film like this, you would have assumed that obviously all the good people sort of die. And it's... Yeah. But no, he gets to live. But I guess he gets to live with the grief of everything that's happened and the loss of his friend and his friend's family that I'm sure he loved very dearly as well.
Yeah. Like, really, he ends up worse because he ends up alone.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah, that too. Yeah. All right, moral of the story. Do not project your longing and loneliness out into the supernatural ether. Otherwise, something will attach and you'll have
Just
to...
because you're looking for a friend.
Yeah, exactly. Just start a social media account or something. I don't know. But no, it was just so good. Like, I don't know. Don't know really what else to say. Pretty basic sort of analysis, but I really liked the creative direction of it all. And as you pointed out, it's probably gonna cop a lot of snubs because it is the horror genre, and horror, I feel, is not taken as seriously.
I have a 1-star review and a 5-star review on Letterboxd.
Oh my god, I didn't even think to look at that. Anyway, I just have a quick question.
Yes.
Quick question. Do we think Orlok truly controls the plague that he emits, or is it?
I think it's an embodiment of his evil,
physical manifestation. Okay, because I'm thinking he was in a coffin on a ship, and obviously shipmates were getting sick. Like, why would you? Because in a way, they're inadvertently helping him across the seas. Like, but may as well take a few souls with you along the way.
Okay, my 1-star, which is actually a 1/2-star review, is what the hell, sure. And then my 5-star will be...
I will look it up because I didn't realise that this was an option going on Letterboxd.
I just thought of it.
I've been seeing a lot of the Letterboxd interviews, like, what's your top 4?
Yes.
Here I am talking like I'm a film snub when I'm actually
This is
not.
my 5-star. Absolutely speechless. This was perfect. Performances were 10 out of 10. The dark, gloomy, gothic atmosphere was stunningly haunting with a dash of eroticism as a cherry on top. I simply cannot fault this film. I wish I could remove it from my memory so I could watch it for the first time.
I saw a funny one on TikTok. I don't know the direct quote, but it was a 1-star for Nosferatu, and it was something. If only Nosferatu had an asthma inhaler or something. It was so funny. Alright. Generic 1-star. Again, we don't search very hard for these. I was so bored and I needed subtitles, to be honest. I couldn't really understand what they were saying. Jump scares were predictable and I could have fallen asleep through them, to be honest. That's my 1-star. Should we make a Letterboxd account for Letterboxd Book Club? Should we watch more movies? Expand. Alright, this is a paragraph. My 5-star Letterboxd review. How funny, like, we're Letterboxd Book Club and it's Letterboxd. I get a little, excited inside. Alright. Nosferatu surpasses the hype as Eggers delivers a wickedly sinister reimagining of the iconic legend. A deeply chilling nightmare that lingers. Genuinely one of the scariest and most unsettling films I've watched in ages. If you love the horny fever dream of Coppola's Dracula, you'll adore this. Lily Rose Depp is astounding. Like, whoa. Easily one of the year's best. Another masterpiece from Robert Eggers. Yes, it was haunting. It was grotesque. It was erotic. All the above. Everything you could ever want in a gothic horror. Also, while we're here, what's your top 4 Letterboxd films? Like, what would they be? Or movies?
This is such a hard question without preparation. Alright.
Fair enough.
Titanic.
But are you going to go pretend... Just because I've been seeing a lot of these interviews on TikTok recently, and a lot of the comments determine how pretentious the actor is, depending on their answers.
Okay, so I'm going Titanic.
Titanic is normal.
Then I'm going Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince.
Ooh, beautiful.
Then I'm going Cabin in the Woods.
Ooh.
And then I'm going Swan Princess.
Love it. That's such a variety. I love it.
Thank you. What about you?
Alright. Miss Congeniality.
Oh, hell yeah.
Hunger Games.
Hell yeah.
The first one. Paradise Road, which is a movie that I watched back in year 12, and it's about for Australian nurses who become prisoners of war in
Oh my god, Pearl
Japan.
Harbor. I should have said Pearl Harbor.
Oh, it's okay. You can add it, slip it in, and then Spaceballs.
Oh yeah.
Yep, that's my top 4. All right. Thank you for listening. That concludes this episode of Letterboxd Book Club. We're taking a different approach this year, apparently. A new goal. Just discuss some films every now and then.
Now we have to rebrand.
We have to... Oh, no.
Like Letterboxd Review Club.
No.
Letterboxd
No, I'll
Shit
just leave
Talk
it as
Club.
is. Shit talk. Yeah.
Two girls yapping.
Letterbox fake film lovers
Yes,
club.
hell yeah. Your cousin will be happy that we've delved into more movies.
Yeah, I'll let him know. I'll be like, bro, listen to this. Nah, it's all good. Like, it's not that deep. This one just especially bamboozled because, you know, it left feelings afterwards and it was, it really sat with you. And again, a film or movie has never really left that effect on me as well. It came at a good time because I was in a bit of a horror era back in October, so like I can extra appreciate it.
Yes, I loved it. It was great. 10 out of 10.
Also, we heard that there was the full frontal moment. How do we feel about that full frontal, real quick?
Oh, I'd heard that it was Nicholas Hoult full frontal, but it was Bill Skarsgård full frontal, and apparently it wasn't even full frontal. He had a prosthetic.
Yeah, which still is a full frontal.
Yeah.
The full frontal
It was great.
shot.
It was great.
I thought it was too dark. I thought we were going to get a, like...
Well, I think that made it non-gratuitous.
But I imagined it was going to be like flashbang, dick in the face, you know?
Oh, quickly, before we go, I did want to say as well that his outfit and his look, like the moustache and stuff, was very reminiscent of Vlad the Impaler, which was done on purpose.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway. Anyway, thank you all for listening. We love you. Stay safe out there. Don't call into the void.
Yeah, sleep tight. Don't let the plague rats bite. And leave a comment if there's any movies or films. I guess we're gonna officially be branching off.
Hell yeah.
Maybe that's what OTS can be.
Oh, true.
Who knows? But yeah, I truly do want to dip into some more, like, just films and movies and just like classics, because I feel very uncultured in that sense. I also don't want to come across as a very pretentious person. Because again, I like the stupid stuff as well, like Spaceballs and Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
Speaking of, Happy Gilmore 2 is happening this year,
I know,
and I'm so
and
excited.
Adam Sandler always said that he wouldn't do another one unless it was, like, perfect. Yeah.
I quickly, in relation to Happy Gilmore, I saw another a tweet, I don't know what it was for, but the account was, like, Shooter McGavin, and it's tagged Adam Sandler. You want to meet at the 9th course at 9 o'clock or something? Wear something nice. Yeah, 9th hole. It was so funny.
Amazing.
So good. Anyway, maybe we can watch Happy Gilmore too. Okay. Anyway, yeah, thanks for listening. We enjoyed Nosferatu. Highly recommend it if you're into the artistic gothic horror. Yeah, fantastic.
All right.
Everyone's so talented.
Light it up.
Yep. Light it up. Good night. Stay safe.